Let's go live. I will just say it's all a game and you lose. That's right. Yep. I'll give it a minute. I know I'm really early. I really don't care. I'm really early. I'm going to say what I want to say and then I'm going to be done. But anyhow, so I'm early in the morning, at least where I'm at. It's still early. For some people, it might be a little later, mid morning. For some people, probably really early. Because I'm on Central Standard Time here in the United States, and other people, it might be late. Who knows? Depends on the world where you're at, right? Some people are like way ahead of me. Some people are 6 and 7 hours ahead of me. Yep, they might be in Germany or Northern Ireland or something like that. And some people are even further than that ahead of me. Some people are like, you know, 12, 13, 14, 15 hours ahead of me. Yeah. Anyhow, I see off the grids in here. Hello. But yeah, you see the name I gave it. It's all a game, and you lose. Well, that's our world. Let's look around you. Let's pay attention, okay, to reality. Let me give you a reality called just the dating arena itself, okay? Since I come online 2006, 2007 area and gave everybody that name TFL, and as time went by, I broke it down and showed them how and where it came from, why the division is where it's at amongst the genders. Okay, you don't see any changes, you just see it progressively getting worse. Because it was deliberately done, there was no accident about it. I just happened to be the first and the only one that ever, at the time, came up online at that time and showed people the dating arena and our behaviors and all the tools that went into it and broke it down, showed you how it's part of NWO, a conspiracy theory, right? But most people still don't get it. Even to today, they still go along with what's destroying them, okay? And so they continuously destroy each other and not even know they are because they perceive their behaviors are perfectly normal when their behaviors aren't perfectly normal at all. It's not normal at all, okay? I'll give you an example of two ends of agents, two types of employees of the establishment that we have, okay? When I first come on, there was only Paul and then the pickup artist industry. Now, we're the only two things around, okay? And I was the only one that ever broke it down right down to the root cause. And of course, MRA was attacking me. How dare me? Okay, and then of course we had the pickup artist industry where I was directly taking money out of their pockets, so they were attacking me. And I was never chasing money, but my message was hurting their customers. They were getting less customers because of me. So they attacked me, but I was telling truth. And that's what happens when you tell truth. Okay, there's no doubts about it. You get attacked when you tell truth. But just the same, I never stopped telling the truth because I recognize what's going on. I'll tell you what, there ain't not one woman, not one man that I can think of on this planet that wants to be dictated and told what they can and can't do and can and can't think. That's got any kind of brain in their head. This would offend most people, men and women alike. It has nothing to do with gender. But we all strive to play a game and be above somebody else, don't we? That's right. And we all dump on each other thanks to something called a hierarchy and people's ability to want to fit in with others. Oh, don't worry. When you're getting ready to go, you better plenty of room. You'll never be out of room. Oh, you want to be above somebody? Well, maybe when they drop your body, you'll get dropped on top of somebody else and you'll be above that person. Of course, you won't know it because your body will be limp and gone and you'll be on the other side. Okay, as history replays itself again and again and again and again and again. It's actually pretty sickening and pretty disgusting when you really think about it, you know. So I'm going to give you two ends of two different types of employees of the establishment just so that you can get it. And there's many ends that come with this because it wasn't just feminism. Everybody, even in the truther community, the so-called truther community, want to point their finger at feminism, but they don't. You know, in the truther community, most of them won't even talk about these topics. Oh no, it's too personal, you know. That's right. It's taboo. Yeah, that's right. That means you're not allowed to talk about it, Bill. Yep, that's what taboo means. But I don't care what you think. It don't bother me any. You can say it's taboo till you're blue in the face. See, the reality comes down to the facts. The facts are we are all abusing one another through social engineering for divide and conquer. And because of that, nobody's treating each other properly. Because we're all trying to outdo each other. We're all competing against each other. That's a big no-no. And then, you know, one of the big things that really gets me is I look at this and I look at it for what it is. I really do. I look at it for what it is. And that's the facts. You know, JFK got himself killed because he attempted to do something that needs to be done. But it needs to be done on a collective scale worldwide, not just in one nation. And that is the tool, the monetary system. Taking it away from the current people who own it. See, they need to lose it because they've abused it. They've completely abused it. They've used it to sell out everybody, to try to buy the entire planet and everything on it, and to decide your life and your fate for you because they're sick. They're psychopaths. They don't belong with it in their hands. But, you know, it appears to me, for even all you religious buffs out here, that your real religion is that tool, the money. Although you'll never own up to it, right? You won't say it, you won't admit it, you'll just lie, and you'll attack me for calling you out for it. But I see it, it's plain and clear. It's in my face. And even the so-called truthers, you know, you buying all this crypto. You know, you people buying into the crypto that are so-called awake. Well, she's not really awake because you can't hold your enemy's hand and defeat him. And as long as you're holding your enemy's hand, you've lost. See, when you buy into crypto, you're supporting what's coming down the pike right now. Because the people that are responsible for doing all this to everybody worldwide are, well, they own it. They own the monetary systems. This is why JFK got himself taken out and not to lunch. That was the real reason he was removed. Because he actually sat in a position to give this country, anyhow, this sector of land on the planet, their own monetary system and give it back to the people and kick them out of the country. What needs to happen worldwide is everybody needs to step forward and take the monetary system away from its current owners. When you do so, you'll discover the current owners own the monetary systems globally. You not only need to take it back away from them, you need to lock them up and take everything they own and never release them ever again. Because they plan on taking everything you ever worked for. They have no problems with it. Because they're psychopaths. They think they own it all, including you. Because they're nut jobs. Okay? The reality is that the money is the root of all evil, but the money itself is a tangible item that can't be evil. But the crypto now, that's not even a tangible item. That's a control mechanism. That's a weapon. And you're buying into your own fate, your own death, for some temporary gratification. That's what I have to say about your crypto. You're buying into your complete enslavement for some temporary gratification. Then when your temporary gratification is gone and you discover what it's done to you, you're not going to like it. And you're not going to want it. And you're going to be miserable. And you're going to want to change it. But you invited it. You invited it right through your door. After all, you're holding hands with them. You're supporting their idea. You sure are. So you're supporting your complete enslavement. And this is what I see people doing around me everywhere. The dating scene. We have Forever Alone Monday. We have Coach Red Pill. They give similar messages. Coach Red Pill is giving you all the BS on how to get a date. Okay? The BS, the tools that keep you divided and keep you broke up, that you're trying to use. You know, you got to have game, right? That's right. You got to put on a phony act and be somebody you're not, right? To impress. Oh, then you better be 6'4". You better be this. You better be that. Yep, so that you can be abused. So that you can be manipulated and lied to and abused. You're in a hurry to get into a relationship with people who don't know what they're doing. And I'm not going to play favoritism because neither gender knows what they're doing. They haven't the first clue. They've gone along with what's been put in their brains through social engineering. So we have Monday. We'll use him for a good example. Forever Alone Monday. And his message was always the same. That it's the guy's fault. 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 That's right. That's what his final message of everything he ever done was. It's the guy's fault. Meanwhile, he was up here manipulating everybody into believing that he was alone himself. When the entire time he was with Annika. That's right. They're a couple. Always has been. He hid that from you. Because he's such an honest character, you know. Okay? But his message was just exactly that. Okay, that it's your fault. Because you're a guy. Somehow when you were a little kid growing up, you were a boy, and it was still your fault. Everything's your fault. There's nothing to be the female's fault. Of course it's your fault. Okay? We know how that goes. That message has been spread by mainstream media for many years now. Commercials, sitcoms, movies. Sure has. It's all right to abuse a man. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Okay? It's all right. You know, there's absolutely no excuse to ever put your hands on a woman. And in reality, there's no excuse for you to ever put your hands on anybody, and that's women and men alike. But they're not going to tell you that part. So this was Monday's message. Coach Red Pill gives you the opposite message and gives you PUA, pickup artist, bad boy advice, gives you advice that, well, will destroy. Okay? And of course, pushing sex, you know, you got to have that, right? Because that's replaced love. But you've all lost your ability to communicate with each other. Communication has been broke down. True care, true love has been broke down and destroyed. Yeah, that stuff really exists. But without it, you get where we're at right now in this world. That's where you get. It can only get worse until we face self-extinction because of being too stupid to be alive, okay? Really, no lie. And I'm not going to play any favoritism here whatsoever. To nobody. Because this is not about one gender. This is about both genders. Okay, so we know what Monday's message was. We know what Coach Red Pill's message was. Let's examine Mr. MRA himself, Paul Elam. I'm not even going to address girls' rights what because that's a feminist posse that Paul Elam passed over to the feminist movement called the Men's Right Activist Movement. Was handed over stock, lock, and barrel to the feminist women to run the Men's Right Activist Movement. I don't know what kind of results you thought you were going to get out of that. Other than more of the same. Okay. Keep us divided. So let's go to Mr. Paul Elam. Okay, let's go to MRA. They spread a lot of truth. They showed a lot of symptoms. They sure did. They showed how men were really being treated, which they were correct about. But here's the flip side of the coin, dude. See, like Monday, like Coach Red Pill, like Turd Flinging Monkey, like Sandman, these people are all employees of the establishment. Like First, yep, still an employee of the establishment. Okay, don't care what you tell me, I know he is. Okay, and he knows I know. Okay, but the reality is reality. Okay, I don't live in a fantasy world, and I'm not going to live in a hologram or a mirage, and I'm not going to just believe in lies. Okay, but just the same, here's where Paul Elam is the opposite side of the same coin, because he's going to address the abuses of men, and he's going to show you these abuses, and then he's going to address the differences between men and women. And then he's going to show you lots of differences between men and women. See, this is the opposite side of the coin, because what this does is keep us focused in on somebody's differences, which causes friction, which is causing infighting, which is causing the division, the breakup of the genders. But most people are unable to see that. See, Monday is going to shoot you down and tell you it's all your fault. You're going to listen to somebody like Coach Red Pill, who's going to give you phony advice, and your other pickup artist industry is going to give you phony advice. All the tools they're going to give you to use will wind up in destruction. It really will. It will wind up with you destroying you. Just like the programming to the women being placed on the pedestal. They become self-entitled, narcissists, control freaks. Do as I say, looking for the perfect slave that they can abuse and treat the way they would never accept being treated themselves. And somehow you being abused as a guy that's supposed to be a normal thing. I mean, it's just completely ridiculous. It's like a conversation the other day about a guy should respect and put the toilet seat up for the woman. I agree the toilet seat should be lifted, whether it's the guy peeing or sitting, because nobody wants to sit on a lid that's been pissed on. Okay, it doesn't matter if it's a guy or a girl. It's not a gender thing. So respect as you lift it. But then she went overboard and said, then you got to put it back down for her because we could fall in. If we sit in the seats up, we'll fall into the toilet. Okay? And I'm like, hold on a minute. Hold on. So you're telling me because you're a female, this lid's up, you could fall in the toilet. And I'm saying if you ain't got a freaking eighth of a second to drop the lid before you sit, that's not my stupidity. I respected you and put the lid up. She says, no, but you have to also put it down. And I says, no, that's called going too far. Of course, she went quiet with that. And then she brought up, well, but we could fall in and we could blah, blah, blah. So hold on. Let me get that straight. So if the lid is up on the toilet and the female sits down, she could fall into the toilet. Okay? And if the lid is up on the seat and the guy comes along, what? He just has a magic potion that makes his butt float in the air? Now, the last time I looked, he would also fall in. So we'll go back to the truth. The truth is, if you ain't got that splinter of a second to drop the seat before you sit, I don't feel sorry for you at all. Okay, I really don't. Stupidity is stupidity. But see, this is somebody who's trying to control the narrative. Control. People, once again, wrong behavior. Trying to control each other. The genders fighting over power. You got to take the power away from the women and give it back to the men. No, you got to take the power and bury it somewhere out in the middle of nowhere where it's never found again, ever. Because nobody belongs having power over one another. I don't care who you are. You don't belong having power over one another. But I do have to give it to the elite because they've done such a fantastic job of pulling a blanket over people's faces. I look at all these behaviors, and I learned to have disrespect for people who just keep going along with these behaviors. You know, a man and a woman can't just be friends. Has been socially engineered into people's heads. The differences between genders has been socially engineered into your heads. See, this is what Paul Elam does. Is he's going to show you all the abuses on the men, and then he's going to show you all the differences between the genders, and the women can't do this job, and women can't do that, and women can't do this, and women can't do that, and women can't do this. Why do you think he does that? Because it's the same reason as Monday told you it was all your own fault. It's the same reason as the sitcoms and the commercials made men look stupid. It is to keep the war perpetuating against the man, to keep the genders divided, to keep placing one gender above the other. Genders are divided. Population reduction. Let's push the gay, let's push the transsexual. That's right, let's push them across the board. Okay, let's go against the races now. There you go, see? See how this stuff just all goes hand in hand? All of it does. It doesn't matter what people say because most of the people don't look into nothing. And when you look into nothing and you can't use your brain, it's just like the monetary system. The majority of all the truthers out here, I haven't heard nobody that's speaking about truth or ever say this. That you got to take the monetary system back away from the people that currently have it, globally. You got to lock them up and throw away the key. And you got to take everything that they ever owned away from them because they stole what they have. Because they abused the monetary system. They used it as a weapon against the people. As a control. Now they're giving you cashless society. The ultimate control. Your ultimate enslavement. And then you so-called truthers and people who claim to be awake are running out there holding their hands and buying it. You're investing into it. You're helping support your own death, your own enslavement. While you say you're awake and fighting back. It's pathetic. It really is. See, nowadays, how many of you could survive if the food was gone? Okay, if I dropped out in the middle of nowhere and all you had was the land under your feet, and you had to come up with a way of getting wood, building some kind of shelter for yourself, and gathering and making food, would you be able to survive? If I dropped you off there with freaking a big old backpack, okay, that had a handheld shovel in it, you know, a fold-up shovel, and and I had that, and you had a fishing pole on there, and you had, you had the stuff to craft and a greatest sharp knife that you could maybe take and carve out wood, and you had some maybe nylon string or something. Would you be able to create something to hunt to gather food? Would you be able to grow the food if you had food seed in that backpack too? Would you be able to know how to let part of your crop go to seed so you have seed for the following year's crop? Would you be able to store the food for the cold season and have shelter? Would you be able to get your clean water to drink? Because I know the answer for most of you will be no, you won't be able to do that. You don't know how. It's sad, because at one time, survival was based on that. See, these are skills that was removed, taken away from you when you was placed into the matrix. The matrix. That's why you have a grocery store. That's why everything's done for you, so that you wouldn't know how. That's why it went on for so many years that way, so that you wouldn't know how. It's to keep you from being able to survive on your own. It's to keep you from standing together in groups and learning how to survive and take care of one another and actually treating each other the way you should be treating one another as human beings. Focusing on the differences of women and men only creates friction and anger and keeps you fighting. Paul Elam knows that. But then again, he works for the establishment. His sales pitch is when he tells you the truth about the way men are being treated. His gotcha moments when he shows you all the differences between the genders and tells you how the women can't do this, this, and this, and the other thing. Gotcha. You fell for it. Monday. Sold himself onto you as a guy that's still got a woman in his life. He sold himself onto you under that impression. And that he was forever alone. And his message was also how it's the guy's fault. The guy's fault. Do we know of anybody else who says it's the guy's fault? Oh, that's right. We sure do. The feminist movement. Yep. Who else? Hollywood. Sure as enough. Oprah Winfrey. Yeah. Lifetime Network. Yeah. See, it's absolutely pretty damn pathetic what I look at. When I look in the manosphere, I see all these people giving other guys advice that are just spilling out the garbage that's been fed to them and don't even know what they're talking about. It's no different than listening to women talk. The garbage that falls out their mouth, they don't even know what they're talking. Because your perceptions are based on all the lies that's been fed to you your whole life, just like myself. And until you can see that you've been lied to on a massive scale, and the majority of everything you ever read was a lie, two, you can have real care. Until you can take responsibility when you do mess up, because we all do, we're all human beings, and own up to your mistake, and apologize and mean it, sincere, from having remorse from your own actions and recognizing the wrong you did. Because, see, all of us are going to do this one time or another in our life. We're going to mess up, and we're going to say something, or we're going to do something that's going to hurt somebody else that we didn't mean to hurt. And this is when you have to be man enough or woman enough, it's not a gender issue, to be able to recognize what you've done and be able to approach them, talk to them, and tell them what you've done, and it was wrong of you to do that, and that you're really sorry and you mean it, and you correct your own behavior, because that's what remorse helps you to do. Being able to put yourself in somebody else's shoes helps to prevent you from doing wrong on others. Okay, but nobody wants to do these. They don't want to use the tools that it would take to straighten things out. Because that sounds like too much work, right? I mean, I'm sure all of you got the same answer. Well, I ain't changing nothing about me. There ain't nothing wrong with me. Isn't that right? Isn't that everybody's answer? Of course it is. So therefore, you lost again. It's just like walking there, buying into the crypto for some temporary gratification so that you can whine and cry at the end because you supported your own enslavement and your own death. Well, history replays itself. You supported it. Well, you said you were fighting against it. It's sort of like high impact flicks. It's sort of like this McCall guy on an uprising, okay, channel. A call for an uprising. Yeah. Yeah, that guy's a clown too. I mean, I've told people how I feel and why I feel. When it comes to a creator, yeah, I believe we have a creator. Do I believe the official story out of the Bible? No, I don't. How could I? Because I recognize what I was taught as a kid when I had to go to Sunday school every Sunday regularly and to church. Every week regularly and some weeks twice a week. And I know what I was sat there and taught. And I know as I got older, I thought about what everything, all the studying we had to do, for Bible study and Sunday school. And what the preacher is saying. And I thought about all this stuff. And as I got older, I realized, man, there's lies going on here. And then the other thing, regardless of what, Okay, I'm not saying the whole thing's lies. I'm saying you can't have Jesus born in multiple different times in different religions with different names and have the exact same story that the Christians are going by in the Quran and the Muslim. Doesn't matter. Pick out every religion you want and go study it. Then compare the common denominator, and you'll find out they all have the same story, just in different phrases, different verses, different timelines. What, you think that's an accident? See, we've been lied to on such a massive scale that people just don't understand. I don't think they really understand, you know. You know, and I laugh at the truthers when they say blah, 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 because David Icke is there. Yes, David Icke is an employee of the establishment, I'm sure of it, right? Just as they are. Okay, but just the same, it doesn't matter. Why? Because if you're truly awake to what's going on around you, you can listen to these people and know when they're BSing you. Because they tell a lot of truth. Yeah, no lie, they do. David Icke probably put out more real truth in the last year than anybody else that I've seen that I know is. Alan Watts put out a lot of truth too. But that's not the point. The point is if you're really truly awake, you should be able to look and listen to these people and know when they're BSing and know when they're not. And if you question something, sit on a fence. Don't call somebody a liar. Sit on a fence and look into it and examine it for yourself. You shouldn't have to believe, I mean, even myself, you don't kind of believe what I'm saying, but go look and use common sense and logic and critical thinking skills. Unfortunately, I think they're like dinosaurs now, ain't they? Oh well, that's not my fault that he's streaming now, and I could care less. Okay? If y'all want to run over to Alex, go ahead and run over to Alex. I don't care, because guaranteed you ain't talking what I'm talking about. Guaranteed you'll get more nonsense over there than anything that's reality. And at least over here you'll get told real truth, real reality, not fiction, fantasy, and story time. But a lot of you can't handle the real truth, so you know, the ones that can't handle real truth, you might run over to Alex and listen to the fantasies and story time, because that's all you're going to get over there. It's fantasies, fiction, and story time and division. You're not going to get anything meaningful, anything real, anything that's going to help anybody. The only thing that's going to do is just perpetuate what's already going on, allowing it to continue and continue and continue so that you can whine and whine and whine. Because that's what that comes down to. I mean, you know, I don't listen to Alex because Alex feels so much BS out his mouth, it's not funny. He tells lots, as far as I'm concerned, lots of fairy tales, fantasies, and stories. He doesn't give you anything of reality. And he doesn't focus on reality. He goes along with social engineering, which is leading him off the end of the cliff, but he can't see that. Okay, I know if he can't see it. By the time he realizes he's walked over the cliff, he's going to be like everybody else, falling to the death and not figuring out how he got there. Cannot figure out how he got there. That'll be the difference between people like him and the truther community and me. Because the reality is, I actually do see what's going on. I understand it really well. You know, it's like the monetary system. See, the powers to be, the elite, they know I know, and I know they know I know, and I know that, you know, what can I say? They know I know, and I know they know I know. And that's reality. Them words are true. It is the monetary system that's keeping you all enslaved. See, the Matrix, you have to have it in order to live. You have to have it in order to get food. You have to have it to get drinks. You have to have it to have shelter. You have to have it for anything and everything you ever needed in life. Without it, you're homeless. You're in a cardboard box, especially here in America. Nobody cares. That's right. Without it, right? Don't tell me it's not a tool. Damn right it's a tool. It's a tool that's keeping you enslaved. What has to happen is every country needs to step up and take it away from its current owners and throw its current owners behind bars and never let them out again. It has to be put into a situation where you collapse the hierarchy completely, and everybody, regardless of who you are and what you do for a living, gets paid the same as the next person. That's right, the doctor gets paid as much as the dishwasher. That's right. The contractor gets paid as much as the cook, as the dishwasher, as the janitor. Now, how come I say that? Because it's the hierarchy that causes the division and keeps you competing. If you took a monetary system, which is a man-made construct to begin with, and you paid everybody, and I mean everybody, man, woman alike, a very wealthy income so that they can live a very good life and never be broke, never be out of food, never be homeless, be able to go on vacations when they want, be able to do what they want when they want. In return, they just had to carry on with what we've always done. It's the human needs. You could have a good world. There'd be no excuse for wars. There'd be no excuse to one-up each other. There'd be no excuse to think that you're above somebody else. No, it's not. Everybody's the same, and everybody has to wear the same clothes and have the same color house and the same this and the same that. That's the illusionary imagination of somebody who's already lost their goddamn mind and thinks they need to be a control freak. See, you don't need to be a control freak because nobody wants to be told what to do to begin with, including yourself, control freaks. See, these are psychopaths already because they're control freaks. They think that they should be able to tell you what to think and feel because how dare you feel differently than them? How dare you have individuality and be your own person? Have your own beliefs. You know what I say about that? So what? You're supposed to. Why do you have a problem with somebody else thinking differently than you, feeling differently than you? That's right. For the same reason Paul Heyman pushes all the differences between men and women. More of that thing called categories, labels, names, nerds, geeks. Where'd that come from? Yeah. Losers, yeah. Commonly called it a man by women. All this shameful words throwing shame. It's all tactics, it's all tools. It's tools to make us hate one another, fight one another, keep us all broke up and all divided. Just like in the dating arena, you hear them talking about your sexual market value. So hold on. So you need me to take you and send you to the slaughterhouse, and we can hang your naked corpse stuffed in a market so that we can come along and pick out the best looking body, right? Just your sexual market value, right? See how nuts you are? See how you just freaking parrot these words and you just make these categories and you make these labels, and from 1 to 10, looks match, looks that nobody keeps. Nobody keeps looks. Looks equals lust. Looks don't equal love. Love is something that's built through being able to be friends. But a man and woman can't just be friends because your society told you so. And you went along with it. You believed it. And because you went along with it and believed it, you've helped to destroy your own selves. See, it's gotten so toxic and so bad now that women have destroyed men. Okay, they literally have. A woman gets with a guy and she destroys the guy she's with. And then it's all his fault. She destroyed him. And she dumps him because she can. Because there's always another waiting for her. Not necessarily for the guy, though. And then she runs to the next guy and she destroys him. And then, like the first guy, it's all his fault. It's all his fault. She has no faults. Then she's so tired of it because she was out there cheating on him and riding the cop carousel. Excuse my language, but that's what she was doing. She'll deny that too because after all, she don't have to be responsible for any of her actions. She can just deny them. And if you call her out on it, you woman hater, you'll be attacked. And the white knight to the rescue. That's right, thinking they could put their penis in a hole. That's right, because that made him more of a man. Yep. It's like the guys who like to hit on married women. You know, I knew a guy that did this all the time. I told him, sometimes whoever says you want these days, you're going to get yourself killed. He wasn't even worried about that. I said, why do you do this? And he says, well, you got to understand. If I can get in your wife's pants, then I'm a better man than you are. And I says, oh, so you're basing you're a better man on if you get in some guy's wife's pants behind his back. He says, yeah. He says, yep, one day you'll find out how brave you are when somebody puts a bullet in your head. Yep, that's a better man laying on the ground dead there. But do you understand where I'm coming from with that? That's completely ridiculous. That's insane. But see, this is the world we live in. We're all competing against each other, ain't we? Why are we competing against each other? Well, because I could be better. So you're better at fixing this, or better at doing this skill than this guy next to you. So that makes you better? Well, what happens when you get to know him? He's better at doing certain things that you are. Well, does that make him better than you now? Oh, then you'll have to try to improve your skill over here so you can try to be better than him again? Are you people out of your mind? The hell are you doing competing against each other? It's not a competition. See, that's why the name of the video is what it is. It's all a game, and you lost. Because right now, history's replaying itself, and you're losing. And the dating scene's got no better. It's only gotten worse because you're losing. Of course you're losing. You keep using the very things that's destroyed you as your way out. Way out of what? You mean your way back to the same spot you started? So you can keep running circles in the same spot? Is that what you're talking about? See, the reality is the reality. There's only one way to straighten out this world. You got to start with the top. You can't be calling your governor. You can't be calling your congressman or senator. They're all puppets. They're working for the people at the top. Why are they doing that? Well, for that tool again, money. That's been used as a weapon. And why? Oh, they look at the mansion they're living in. Look at the rich lifestyle that you ain't got. They're better than you. No, they're not. Last time I looked, they went to the toilet the same way you did. Last time I looked, they had to go to bed at night time too, and they bleed just like you do. They're not better than you at all. That's the hierarchy. Destroying you and them. They just don't know it yet. That's right, they just don't know it yet. Most of them can't figure it out. You know, and I'm watching this, and, you know, crypto's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. There's more suckers every day just buying into their own death and don't even know they are. You say, how could they be buying into their own death? Because they're buying crypto. It's simple. What do you think crypto's here for? They ain't here for your wealth. When it's finally done and said, and we're going completely cashless, you're going to find out the hard way. Yeah. Look at all this money I made before we went cashless. Wow, look at that. It's gone. What happened? Well, the owners took it back. That's right. You wasn't allowed to be at that level. They decide what you're supposed to have and not. And you're not part of the club. I allowed you to have that so that you would agree and allow me to bring this in. Now I've got the cashless society in place. Now the fun begins. First thing I do is strip everything from everybody that's not supposed to have anything. Now I give you back your little pediments, your little petty fee that it's going to barely keep you alive, trapped in one spot, living like in the slums for the rest of your life, as long as you follow their orders. First time you don't follow the order, we'll take that little pittance that we gave you away from you. And for people who suck, the best, suck up to them the best, we might get a little bit more of a pedalance so we can be maybe just a tad bit above somebody else. As we keep the insanity going. That's what it comes down to. As you keep the complete insanity going. It's crazy. It's out to lunch. That's why I said no. You cannot be buying into crypto and tell me how you're awake. You cannot be freaking asking for donations and all this stuff that you're doing and tell me you ain't here for that tool. So while you're holding the elite's hands, while you're pretending to fight against them, you're not for real about beating them. A lot of you people wouldn't even want it stopped. You don't want this stopped. You're too busy making money on it. And pretend fame. That's right. You don't want to stop. You enjoy what you're doing. This is my living, man. I sit at my computer and I make videos. Yeah, that's what I do for a living, man. I'm a hard worker. For the majority of the years I was doing what I've been doing, that I'm doing right now, I worked a full-time job. And I come home and I researched and made videos. And I come home, research, and make videos. On my days off, I'd spend my days researching and making videos. I worked a full-time job, come home, and carried on a blog talk radio show for almost 5 years. On top of still researching and making videos. Well, looking forward to the fall. The fall needs to happen. But you need to go after your real enemy. You can't just go after your governor and your so-called fake presidents and fake leaders. You have to move up to the top. You have to start with the bankers. That's right. Rothschilds, Rockefellers. That's right. J.P. Morgans. You got to start with the elite bankers. You go to the bloodlines like the Queen up there in the United Kingdom. That's right. The home of the Rothschilds, what the Queen is. And you take these bloodlines and you take these bankers and you lock them up. You take everything away from them, just like they have done to you. And we do this worldwide. Then we collapse the hierarchy, and then put everybody back to work. But you make everybody make enough money that they're going to have a really good life. But nobody makes more than somebody else. Nope, nobody. Don't matter what your gender is. Doesn't matter what work you do for a living. Why is that? Because to continue to have all the things you need, everybody has to work to create them because they don't create themselves. To continue to have groceries in your stores and your stuff shipped to the stores, people have to work. So the jobs have to go on. But there's no more hierarchy. Everybody gets paid the exact same. They won't need to have to worry about getting a raise because they'll be paid such a good amount of money per month, everybody, that they'll be living very happily. Very happily. Everybody will be. And nobody will be above anybody else. Dropping the hierarchy on its face is the answer. changing your mindset that you're not above somebody else. And for those who are determined to try to be above somebody else regardless of what, well, that's what they make jails for. It's for the criminally minded, insane people. For those who says, I'm not going to be a doctor, okay, or I'm not going to be a engineer for this much money. I want more than everybody else when you're already being paid so much money, you're already wealthy. All of your needs, everything you could ever want has already been met. No. That's called a nut job. So I'll tell you what, we'll just, you don't have to work and we'll take all you pay from you and now you got nothing and you can enjoy that life until you grow the fuck up. Excuse my language. Until you grow the hell up, you can enjoy this life of being broke. Or you can enjoy this life of having more money than you'll ever be able to really use. Having anything you ever needed to buy, you could get. And be equal as the person next to you, regardless of what they do. It is the only way you're going to stop the BS that's going on in this world. It's sick. It's disgusting. So I won't buy into crypto because that's holding the banker's hand. I've never come up here and asked for money from anybody for what I do. I've done it from my heart. I do it for what's right for all of us, and it is our behaviors that's destroying us, men and women alike. It's how we treat each other. It's how we feel and think about each other that's been all handed to us. You people looking at somebody else's skin color, whether you're black, brown, I don't care. Knock it off. We're all human beings. I mean, the reality is society is going to have to crash in order to fix it. And people that need to be locked up this time that was never held accountable. And we're not just talking to people that are in your face like Anthony Fauci and Bill Gates and George Soros. No. Yes, of course they need locked up. No lie, okay? Just like Mr. Kissinger and all of these people, they need locked up. But you've got to go to the root cause and work your way down. And all these people that are that evil, I mean, sorry, you take everything away from them and you lock them up and throw away the key. You collapse the hierarchy completely. That's right. And you bring back the monetary system under equal pay for everybody. But you make sure everybody makes such a great amount of money in return for what they do, what their choice. They still get their choice because it's individuality of what they want to do for their living. But as long as they're doing their part, doesn't matter what they choose. Because we need all these things, whether you're manufacturing this, whether you're growing food, whether you're a doctor. These are all things that we all know we already need, right? So see, you're doing your part, and in return, you shouldn't have to be living lower than somebody else. This hierarchy shit has to go away and go away forever. This gender thing needs to disappear. Stop focusing on each other's damn differences. Deliberately done to cause you to fight, to break you up, divide and conquer. Stop making categories and shaming tactics for other people. Because you don't like it done to you, you don't do it to somebody else. See, that's the hypocrisy of our world. You all think that you can do unto somebody else that you don't want done unto yourself. You tell them, put yourself in somebody else's shoes before you do something. They get offended by them words. They don't want to hear them words. Why? You might have to have remorse. You might have to recognize right from wrong. It's pathetic. It really is. I wish more people would understand what I'm saying and more people would really understand it to the point of understanding, because reality is The only reason what's going down in this world right now, all the lies that are being told and all the evil that's being perpetrated, is because you're standing back and letting it happen to you. You gave away your power. You stay divided and you fall. Divide and conquer. Divide and conquer. Keep turning your back and looking the other way and see what your results are. Keep buying into the cripple and holding the banker's hands while they lead you to the cliff to drop you off on your head. Temporarily, you get to have a lot of the tool so that you can feel whatever, so that you can be enslaved and lose it all overnight for the rest of your life. Well, some trade that was, yeah, because you want to keep staying under their system. There. What about the people's system, our system? What about the things I just said? There's no excuse for wars. There's no excuse for militaries. You don't need militaries. Well, we do to defend ourselves. What, against your ability to grow up? You're going to defend yourself against the fact that you failed on growing up? How dare you sit there and tell the children to grow up when you never grew up yourself? Maybe you should have practiced what you preached before you opened your mouth to your children, huh? It's hard for a child to raise a child. I mean, the reality is just like Dabu 7. He's going to tell you gold and silver is the real money. I challenge that. I'll tell you how I challenge it. If gold and silver is the real money, I want everybody with the food and fresh water is gone. Everybody go ahead and give Dabu 7 the gold and silver. Now, he don't need any water. He don't need any food. No. Because that's not wealth. What do you mean he's dead? Well, at least he's got his wealth that he couldn't take with him. See, real wealth is food and water. Real happiness is communication and knowing how to get along with others and treating each other properly. See, the real wealth is the things that keep you alive. Shelter over your head, food and water. Real happiness is obtained through communications. And that don't happen in a world where nobody knows how to treat each other and you're all competing against each other, does it? So it is what it is, But I wanted to come up here and rant about this morning just because this stuff needed to be said again. Most of you won't understand what I'm telling you, or the majority of people will just turn their back to what I'm saying and go right on holding their enemy's hand and walk off the cliff to their own death and then whine on the way down trying to figure out how they got there. I just told you how you got there, but you didn't want to hear it. It fell on deaf ears, didn't it? Sure did. Because my message seems to fall on a lot of deaf ears because people hate truth, isn't that right? Truth offends them. You think the truth offended you, wait till you're falling off the cliff and land on them jagged rocks. They're really going to offend you. But you'll have it coming. Can't say you wasn't warned. Now, the problem with us people that know what's coming, that have plenty of water and plenty of food, is you better be ready to defend it. No guarantee how well you'll be able to defend it because they will cut the supply chain, and when they cut the supply chain, they'll let the stores go empty. Law enforcement, criminal enforcement, the Nazis will be ordered to stand down. The Nazis worldwide called law enforcement. And they'll follow the orders because that's what they are, is order followers, just like the Nazis. And, like here in this country, the United States, while they're pretending to come after your Second Amendment, and are not really after it, They're driving up the gun sales and the ammo sales. And they're passing laws doing away with background checks in many states. And you'd say, why would they pass laws doing away with background checks while they're coming after them? Because the Ponzi show, the Hollywood act, to scare you is that we're coming after them. That causes you to go buy more. Now they made more money off you. They want you armed. Because when they cut the supply chain, you'll be using them guns on each other to steal and kill each other. And law enforcement will be standing down. And the movie The Purge will be playing in your face. Population reduction. Kick back. Don't need to worry about military or anything. And let them kill each other. So instead of standing together and going after your enemy so that the supply chain can be put back again, so that you don't have to starve to death, sure, some people are going to die fighting back, but you know, when you don't die, when you don't fight back, you lose. You want history to replay itself again? Keep not fighting back and keep turning your head. Everything I've said in this last hour I've been up here has all been factual truth. Now, I'm going to get out of here, but you know what? You need to listen to what I've said over and over again if it has to. And you really need to use critical thinking skills about what I'm saying. Because there's absolutely no excuse for anybody's behaviors in today's society, men and women alike. Now, I'm not going to play favoritism. The genders have been deliberately split and divided. And men and women alike got to get their heads out of the, you know what, recognize each other as human beings again. And it's not about your own selfishness. It's about all of us. Because we all need each other, whether you believe it or not. If you want the technology and the stuff that you've had, that you've been spoiled to your whole life, to continue, then we need each other. And we need to work together. And you got to stop this BS that's led to hundreds of millions of men across the world being alone all their whole life and rejected in 1 to 5 seconds. Deliberately done. This damn looks thing, the hierarchy, it's got to go away. People got to start using their head again instead of their behind. But unfortunately, most people in today's society use their anal to think with. And of course, when you use your anal to think with, you know the results are going to be pretty shitty, right? Literally. Anyhow, I guess I'm going to get on out of here, but that was my rant for today. With that being said, y'all have a good one.